Welcome to Your Number Man, where we share financial strategies, business insights, and inspiring stories to help you navigate a successful business. I am your host, Johan, and my goal is to help you achieve a bigger life in business. Today we are talking to Carol Dads. Carol is the founder of Sunshine Barossa, where she creates and trades with beautiful leather goods. Her business has been around for almost 10 years now, and Carol's connection to leather runs back a few generations. Her grandma made beautiful leather handbags, and her dad taught her all the essential leather skills for the horse stud farm she grew up on. Today, Carol lives in the Barossa, where she draws inspiration from the creative community and the amazing, ever-changing landscape. Carol and her partner Jason, who is also a very gifted artist, operates from North Street Studios in Angaston, and she has created a label that's respected in the Barossa and Australia-wide. Carol's got a very impressive customer base, including numerous corporate clients. I am so happy to have you here, Carol. Welcome in the studio. Welcome to Your Number Man.
Thanks for having me, Johan.
Yeah,
it's a bit exciting.
Yeah, so. You look lovely. I always say you're very unique in what you do and the way that you come across, and I think you just like portray your brand perfectly.
Thank you.
Is there anything that I've sort of I didn't say, which is quite important? Well, it's probably going to come a lot out in the
I'm sure when we're chatting it'll all come out anyway, Johan. Yeah. Any story's quite long and quite in depth, really, if you want to talk about it, and from where it all started and things like that. So
because you've got a very inspiring business, and it all started, I guess, when you told me the story once when you discovered a trunk at your mum's place, and it was full of leathers and hides and a little bit of tools and seams as well, and you start plodding away with it. And then not much later, you actually started a business. Is that correct from what I can remember?
Yeah, well, as you said earlier, I've been around. My gran taught me how to sew. Both my parents always did leather work around me when we lived on a horse stud when I was growing up. So being creative, it was just in my blood. And unfortunately, Mum and I was always loved business as well. So I've had quite a few businesses in my time. But unfortunately in 2016, my mum got sick, and I was emptying her house to sell. And that's when I come across a trunk of hides and all this beautiful leather. And I just thought to myself, I really should do something with this. It's time. It's time I started creating and doing something with this. And pretty much understanding business and finding something you truly love, that's how it all happened. Sunshine Barossa was born, pretty much. It was born.
And isn't it a gift if you find something you really love and you can actually transform it into a business, really every day live out your purpose? Yeah.
I mean, that's really a dream for anyone,
yes,
I think, especially creative people, arty people.
Yes.
And, I'm very proud to say I'm doing that.
I'm
living that.
You're living,
You're
living the dream. Yeah.
But it always has to start somewhere from a hobby.
Yes.
And
Now, was there a specific time when you actually decide, well, this is it. This is not just a hobby. This is it. This is what I can do.
Yeah, that was a clear moment that I will never forget, because the feeling, it's lots of fear that you have to overcome. Because what I was doing beforehand, I was earning really good money. And then I decided I wanted to, create with leather permanently. And so I quit my other business.
Was it a job, a full-time business, or was it the business that you ran?
It was a full-time business. Yeah. So it was hairdressing.
Hairdressing,
yeah.
Yes.
But that was also a big part of it. So my beautiful customers, hairdressing customers, they all by then had one or two of my handbags, because they'd seen what I was doing and they'd started purchasing as well. And so that was part of how I knew I had something that I really should pursue and continue doing. So Yeah, and that moment in general, and I do say and share that with a lot of people. If you feel you can do it, just do it. Make that decision, because you know what? If it fails, you can always get another job, can't you? But give it a go.
Give it a go.
I definitely think you should.
It's like you don't want to regret one day when you say, "Oh, I should have tried it." It's like if you always thought you had a bit of and you probably knew me a few years ago. I had a bit of a stint on the side where I was doing a little bit of woodwork as well.
Yeah.
I've made you a few bar stools. I don't know if they actually sold, but anyway, it's like those kind of ideas sometimes that you think, I wish I could have just tried it out when I was younger.
Yeah.
And you've tried it out and it worked, and it's fantastic.
And I think that's the thing is having, just backing yourself. And just going, why not? Why not do it? Let yourself do it.
Back yourself. And that's right. And I guess you also mentioned the hairdresser, the business that you run, but you've also done a lot of management courses. You've really tried to upskill yourself in management. And finance and business.
Yeah, I was very blessed in my hairdressing world. I travelled quite a bit with it. And I was managing at a young age a big salon, and the company just believed in me to be a leader from an early age. So they put me through business management courses, and I learned so much about just running businesses. And at the end of the day, business is business. So the numbers game, finding what you love and understanding the numbers game, you can make it work. So I was very glad that I had done that sort of training and upskilled myself. But it doesn't stop there. You've got to continually upskill yourself. Always.
Exactly.
To keep being able to excel in what you do. So
of course, that's right. And you're still doing that. You still try to upskill. I mean, obviously you don't. And it's not my job to make everybody an accountant. I just want to help them understand, if you are closer to your numbers, you are closer to your clarity in business.
Yeah.
And that will help you to see your vision, because we always talk about the 2 V's in business. It's your vision and your viability.
Yes.
Have you got your vision, and is your business viable?
Yeah. I think that's a very important thing for everyone to actually understand.
Yeah.
And especially with what I do, more an arty world and things like that, you do have to make sure it is viable. You have to pull yourself back sometimes and punch the numbers.
Otherwise, it's just going to stay a hobby, which is fine, and you enjoy it.
Yeah.
But it's not going to...
But if you've made that decision and quit everything else to do it full time, it has to be viable.
And it takes guts, doesn't it?
Yeah. And it does. And it takes risk too. You have to be able to go with some risks. And jump off that ledge quite a few times to go to the next level. And there's lots of levels if you're growing in business, and you have to keep doing that and pushing yourself. And I suppose I enjoy that part of it as well.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is rewarding. It's like everything. If you want to climb a mountain or run a marathon or a triathlon, which I haven't done before in my life, but it's like, perhaps one day I'll climb a big mountain.
Yeah.
But
a lot of that comes also from having personal commitment to what you're doing. You just have to work hard, pretty much.
Work hard. And it's talent as well. I don't know, I always struggle with the idea a little bit. What if you really want to be a good actor, or you want to be a good artist, but you don't have that talent, but you just want to do it, and we're probably just sidetracking a little bit from our conversation. What do you think? What happens is do you think it's a way that you can taught yourself a talent almost?
Yes.
If you've got a passion?
Definitely.
Yeah.
If you've got enough passion to want to do something and become something, but yes, you can teach yourself. But it's hard work.
And
so you gotta. It's repetitive, continual, to get there. But yes, I mean, obviously there's people with talent out there. Yeah. But there's a bit of a mixture to succeed. I think you need both sides.
You do, yes.
Yeah.
I guess.
And self-discipline.
Self-discipline
is a big part of that. In a personal way of life and with business. So
everything, yes.
So if you haven't got that, you're going to find it hard to keep growing.
And you just gotta try and work on gathering your self discipline by a lot of reading or researching or whatever. But reading and researching or listen to good podcasts are a discipline by itself.
Exactly.
So it's almost
And
like you got to bootstrap it.
Yes,
If,
yeah. I mean, I start my morning at 6 every morning, whether I want to or not,
Yeah.
with a walk and listening to a podcast.
Oh, that's great.
You know, or reading,
Yes.
listening to a book.
Yes.
Continually doing that. And that's my start of every day. So, you know, some people just sleep in and wonder why they don't get anywhere. But, you know, that's my choice.
It
And I
is
like
your
to-
choice,
yeah.
and it works for you, and it's fantastic. And yeah, you're right. I mean, different strokes for different blokes. They
Yes.
say, if I'm a morning person myself as well, but I understand there are probably a lot of people out there that probably writers or some magicians.
My
they-
partner Jason, who's a painter, he'd
Yeah.
rather paint at night, and that's his time.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
that's when I'm
And
falling
everybody-
asleep on the lounge of my
Yeah.
cat. But he paints at night, and everyone is different.
Yeah,
and he's
or wake up
ve-
in the middle of the night and say, "I've got an idea," and
Oh.
gets out his canvas. Does he do that?
I do that.
Yeah?
The book beside my bed. That's where all my designs and ideas
Really?
come from.
Yeah.
Silly hours of the morning. People quite often ask me, they go, "Where does all your designs and ideas come from?"
Yeah.
2:00 in the morning. Like,
That's great.
Just ping in
And
my.
We want to put a bit of your information on the show notes as well, so they can get hold of you on your website as well. That's right. And you're doing a lot of markets every now and again.
No, I don't do markets anymore,
Oh,
Johan.
oh, man.
Now I've been able to buy my own
Yeah,
brick and mortar
that's
property.
right, because you've got a shop in Angaston. Yes.
Yeah, it just, I can't leave that at the moment,
No, you can't.
and do
And
markets.
you open Saturdays as well.
Yeah, I open Thursday, Friday, Saturdays. Everyone says, "Why can't you open more?" And it's like, well, because I have to sew and put things in there to
Yes.
sell. So,
Yeah.
but markets and they were a great thing to start with. And anyone that's trying to build their brand, it's a good idea to get it out with markets. But now I've got to the point that I could purchase my own commercial property, and we've got a beautiful shop, so that's where you'll find us
That's
now.
and I must say, sorry, I always said I'm going to come around, Carol. I haven't been there yet, but I haven't been in Angaston for a while. But yeah, I will be there soon. And everybody out there, the Barossa is great. If you're thinking of taking a trip over, come for a weekend and taste the wines, taste the foods. Go to North Street Studios.
Yeah,
Am I
7
correct?
North Street, Angaston.
And that's in Angaston as well.
Yeah.
They've got great areas around which you can see it is. So that's great. Anyway, we still got a lot to go through here, but I'm just interested. You did mention to me at some stage your love for entrepreneurship came as a kid when you were on this horse stud with your family, and you started dealing with guinea pigs. Is that correct?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
my parents' upbringing was amazing, and we were very self-sufficient on our horse stud and farm.
Yeah.
And as kids, we were allowed to have any pets we wanted, but long as we looked after them and helped pay for their food with our pocket money, things like that. Anyway, so I decided I would get guinea pigs, and made a little mistake and thought I had 2 boys, and it was a girl and a boy, and they breed very quickly.
Yes.
But they were really stunning little guinea pigs, so I had a lot of babies. And I, with my mum's help, because she worked in the city, and I ended up selling my little baby guinea pigs to a pet shop. That absolutely loved them because they're beautiful. So all of a sudden I did have a little business going, and I could help pay for my own. It pretty much covered my own feed for my little guinea pigs and all things like that. And it was really a good way of understanding how money worked and how you could actually make money. And that was that was primary school where I learnt all that. So that was a bit of fun. So yeah.
That is amazing, and it's actually quite interesting that you mentioned, because I've interviewed a lot of small businesses on my podcast, and obviously spoke, but it's always a bit of a trait that you can see through people that in business. They always start with some ideas as a kid. I was I delivered newspapers. I got fired at 13 years. That was my first job. I got fired because I got a puncture. And then I didn't pitch up to go and collect the newspapers. And then the next day, the lady said, "No, sorry, you didn't come yesterday. You're fine." And I went to go and cry to my dad. And my dad said, "Sorry, mate,
life.
That's life." And I thought he's going to protect me, but now today I found, I never got fired again in my life. But anyway, I'm probably unemployable now as you if you're running your business. Anyway, sorry, I'm digressing again. Yeah, it is a good trade. If you, as a kid, sometimes learn how to deal with money and understand business, and
yeah,
like
and
you say,
I think the key there too is learning that you can do it.
Yeah,
that you can start earning money if you can work out the system and work out how you can do it. And I think you don't always have to rely on someone else. You know, a lot of people like working for other people. I've done my time with that. I don't think I'd be great now working for other people because I just enjoy being my own boss too much and I love it. But but it all definitely starts from a young age, I believe, if that's in your blood.
It's in your blood. Well, technically, we do work for other people.
Yes.
If you're a small business owner, you work not just for one boss, you work for 100 or 1,000 bosses.
True.
That's what I tell you. Carol, I don't like that handbag you gave me last month. And the seam is coming loose and this leather is all scruffy. So it's a tough gig out there. You got to be disciplined. You always going to work on your new products. You're going to invent, reinvent, create. Like you said, you sometimes wake up at night and think about new ideas and make sure that your product stands out from the best. Because I know a lot of, perhaps not in the Barossa, but there's a lot of people out there that making little art, that's artisans and make their own leather stuff. But you have got a competitive advantage because you are unique. And like I said as well, you are the brand as well. So you work on that area quite a lot. And
like if you come and visit North Street Studios, I've created where we actually manufacture as well. So everyone can actually see through glass where the machines are, where we work. And that's the difference. So they can see where it's all happening. And then you can see why it does work because every sort of product that we're making has a part of me in it. It has the energy in it and it's beautiful. And therefore, I do listen to all my many customers that come through and they might, critique things or I always believe I have something for everybody, but there's always something else that comes up that I haven't got. So it's listening to your customers to make sure that you can, keep up with that. And then they help you design the best bag continually. And the sort of, the larger you get as a business, you can afford to get even better leather and better products and better fittings and you can improve your work all the time. And that's the fun of it too, to be able to do that. So,
and you just, sometimes you go to sleep sometimes at night and say, I can't wait for tomorrow because I've got all these ideas.
Or sometimes I don't sleep at night because I want to keep going. But
do you stick to your routine still? Even
I think routine is very healthy for my mental space. I do need routine. Otherwise, if you just let yourself go and not have enough sleep, and no good for anybody. So
I guess it's okay if you're a rock star or somebody, but
I'm sure they would get their sleep at some point.
That's quite different. Now let's talk a little bit about something that we've done a few years ago here in the Gawler Hub, where we're actually sitting in the basement here in the studio. We're recording now. On the first floor, we've had a sort of like a mini Shark Tank night. And it was actually quite exciting. And Trevor Taylor, a good mate Trevor Taylor, was on the show as well a few months ago. Big shout out to him. He was involved with the RDA at that stage. Now, for people who don't know, the RDA is the Regional Development Australia. And they are putting a lot of effort into create and develop small business in the regions, and the art and Trevor work with the RDA, and they really helped, building the RDA up. And at that stage, we had a few investors that came in, and they sit around a table, and then we pitched a few ideas to them. I was there. I helped one of my clients, and he had some idea about spring sparkling water, and you pitched against us.
Yes.
with your leather business, and you were great. I remember you told a beautiful story, and I remember your numbers were pretty spot on as well.
Mm-hmm.
So how was that?
That's a big standout moment. I remember doing that in building up. And I want to shout out to Trevor too. I haven't seen him for a long time. He really helped me. So when you get to a point of your business where you go, okay, I'm not going to this isn't going to be a hobby anymore. I actually am going to do something with this. I want to make this happen. But then all of a sudden you go, oh, but I really need help in some forms of or another to help do things. I'm quite, and still, I must say, quite computer illiterate. So I still manage to do everything I need to for my business, but in a lot of ways I needed help. And that's when I reached out to RDA. And I spoke to Trevor, and he just, he backed me all the way. His enthusiasm was just so infectious that he helped me even with my first logo. So I was called Sunshine Barossa, but he helped me put Sunshine Barossa Australia. He made it Australia because he explained that not everyone knows the Barossa, but they know Australia.
Yes.
So, that's how much he's helped me along the way. Anyway, and with this Shark Tank, and he asked if I could do it. And I'm like, no way, I can't do that. Because and we were just discussing on an introvert person, on a confident person, but on an introvert. So that type of thing, oh my lordy, that just was something I didn't think I could do. But he pushed me out of my comfort zone, and I did it.
Yeah. No, you were starved that night. I've got to say it.
I'm very glad I did it. I had all my notes, and I did my first PowerPoint presentation ever. And but I also took my products with me as well. And I remember I forgot half the things I was meant to talk about. But I just told my story, passed around my beautiful leather products, and it sort of spoke for itself, really. But from that, I met some amazing people and some amazing mentors whom I still do run into now and again, which is amazing.
Do you want to do a quick shout out for a few? I don't know if they're going to mind. It's all right.
It was just a couple of the judges.
Yes.
Josh Helbig. That is still very heavily in the Barossa.
Josh is running the brewery now.
Yeah, and he probably doesn't realise quietly how much of a mentor he is, but
he's a very laid back guy.
Yeah, and Lee Atkinson from that panel as well, and we've caught up for coffees many a time, and just their words of encouragement and just being able to chat about business has just been amazing. And they're at a massively different level than I'll ever be, but they're such genuine people. It doesn't matter, and that it's nice to be able to help each other. So, but I certainly got some help financially too with that.
That's great. And you're still using that numbers a little bit today. I mean, you always fall back to that time that you actually, because it was a bit of a watershedding event in your life, wasn't it? Because from that you were able to secure some funding, and you started, you got a few machines as well.
Well, so from that I didn't get investors, but that's fine. But from that I got in contact through these guys. A bank manager come and saw me, and I was able to and he saw through my figures the projection of what this big laser Trotec machine could do for me, and that can cut out all my patterns and burn logos into leather, and so it was a very expensive piece of equipment, so I had to loan money for it. And the fact that a bank manager looked at my numbers and knew that it was worth lending me the money for that was pretty amazing, and that is from all that.
That is, and
that hard work, and
that's great, and that set the tone, because you radiated confidence and the story and your vision, and people also saw that. Where are you going with this business? So there's a lot of, and I don't know if the bank manager was in the audience.
I don't know. I did. I can't actually remember now.
But from that came, and that's probably the point I want to come across as well, because a lot of our listeners are already in small business. Some of them have got a small little team. Some people are actually toying around with starting a business. I just want to tell you are not alone. There are people around it. There's excellent mentors, and people don't even know they're mentors, like Joss.
Yeah.
And even you, Carol, I believe you're a great mentor to some. You could be you probably are a mentor.
Thank you. And I hope I
you
can
don't
help
know you're
some
a
other
mentor.
people. Yeah.
I mean, you don't always know that you're a mentor for people, but a lot of people look up to you. What have you created, and how do you brand your business? And okay, you're not an accountant, but it's right. None of us, I don't know. Richard Branson can't even count to 10 for that matter, because he was just. And look at him, A lot of people are struggling, but they overcome that fears by keep persisting.
Yeah, and also realizing that there is help. You don't have to do all that yourself.
Yes.
And I think that's where RDA did help me to realise, and they with their B2B program that they did, they helped me with a bookkeeper and accountant and people like that too, and marketing, and you got to understand about it yourself for your own business, but you don't necessarily have to do it yourself, and that's where that can help others, and finding the help for that. And it's just in our region,
It's just
people don't realise how much help there is.
The doorstep, and that's through the RDA. A big shout out as well to Anita, who's running the RDA, the business to business program now as well, and she and Nathan, I think Nathan's involved there as well with the RDA. They're doing great work to help people to understand. To B2B providers, and I'll probably shout out to myself as well. I'm also a B2B provider. So if you struggle with your costings or your pricing, we're a great team of experts that can help small business owners with a little bit of knickknacks here and there to help you keep your course on your business. But I mean, it's not about me. It's not about the RDA. It's about you, Carol. You are the lady of the moment. So I really love what you do. But I think it must be tough as well sometimes, because you sometimes deal, because you've over the years you've sourced a lot of suppliers as well, and you get a lot of you got to deal with international suppliers sometimes, and you got to deal with different cultures and languages, and if products are not right, you got to be able to make sure that you get the right product. How do you deal with that? Because I think some of your letters are from it India or
India and Java, and New Zealand.
Yes.
Saying that, I also deal with 2 amazing wholesalers in Adelaide. So they also have amazing leathers from everywhere. So that's a good option for me as well. But yes, I have created my own, because anyone understands their business. If you buy a bit more in bulk, obviously it's going to be a bit more cost effective. But with that, there is risk, definitely, with communication barriers, and could be the wrong product. Blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
But over time, you just learn. You have to be strong. You have to be, and the communication is the key. And taking control of it. If the product's not quite right, well, you have to tell them that can't happen again, or so I'll never deal with you again. But you don't have to be nasty either. You can still be kind and have those communications.
And to the point and firm.
And so that's something I've learned I'm quite good at, and I have lovely people I deal with.
And learn to say no as well.
And learning to say no in every way of business. Learning to say no is a good thing. I'm going through that right now because I'm so busy. And I can't do everything that people want me to do. So I have to say no to some of the things I don't want to do so much. So, and that's an important thing too. At the start, you say yes to everything because you just want to grow, but you can't always do that.
You can't always.
No, it's not good for your own health,
Yeah, and if you're going to try and please everybody, you're definitely not going to please yourself.
Yeah.
Which sounds a little bit egoistic.
But it's real.
By the end of the day, you are the most important person in your business. You've got to make it work. And
well, I think to the point, even every product, and everyone knows this that has been to my space, every product, as I said earlier, has a little bit of me in it. So if I don't like that product, if I'm personally not going to wear it, I'm not going to have it in my store. and that's where it is hard. Sometimes people will come in my door and they'll want something that's completely not me. And I'll say, no, I'm sorry, you're not in the right spot.
Yes.
Because I have to be able to love everything I make.
Yes.
And I do. So.
Yes, and that's your niche market. That's the same.
Yeah.
If you want to go rich, if you want to get rich, go niche for the market. But then also, and it's also quite a challenge to you make sure that you handle your cash correctly if then you deal with your suppliers. Because sometimes you're going to get something at a very good discounted price, but you have to buy a lot of letters. So you're going to know, is the market there to actually get, and can you get that cash back in a certain amount of time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you have to look at a whole year ahead with business. You have to actually plan that far ahead. So you have your really busy time, like we've just come out of an insanely busy time. Our April in our area, because we've had so much on, is as busy as Christmas.
It was
so
Vintage Festival, we had a roundabout or
gather round. Easter, Vintage Festival, school holidays. So it was insane, but in an amazing way. And, so many tourists come through our shop and and it was incredible. So shout out to everyone. Thank you so much for your support. Yeah. And one of my beautiful things, which we'll probably touch on later, is our community, because so many local people had visitors staying, and they brought their visitors through North Street Studios. So that's huge for us. It's amazing. And to see that they're proud of that we're there too, which is nice. It's not all about wine.
It's not all, but it's which is, artisans, cuisine, landscape, tourism. Yeah, it's just a great.
So,
great.
But what I was saying, so therefore you can predict pretty much how your year's going to look. So when you have a injection of money of a busy time, that's when you can buy. You've got a bit more money, you can buy a bit more leather. So then when it's quieter, you've got it there. And quite often a lot of community businesses might want jobs when it's a quieter time. So then I've got the leather there, and it makes it all profitable. So it's predicting what's going to happen.
At least you're working with the right part of the cow. You're not selling meat that's got to be sold within a certain amount of time.
No. You can order ahead of time.
You can order ahead of time, and that's great. So, obviously we touched on the Barossa. It helps you. Do you believe that? Sunshine Barossa, that's your brand. The area really helps to bring out your creativity as well. Yeah, well,
I probably when I go for my walks every morning, I am grateful for where I live every day. We just live in such a beautiful region, and because of that, just makes me feel content and creative, and blessed to where I am. And our community is so supportive in every way. So I wouldn't, and I do often say this to people, I wouldn't exist if it wasn't for our community and everyone backing me and supporting me, and being proud to show people that there is other parts of it, like we were just saying briefly before. Our area is getting quite well known for its arts, and there's amazing other spaces, the Barossa Wonderground art gallery. The girls have done an amazing thing there, and the Barossa Regional Gallery is having its new space done, and it's just incredible to be part of all that now. So it's very community based.
That's right. So and Jason is, he's sharing a studio with you. But he's doing his own artwork.
Jason he's all his life he's been a painter, so he's an amazing artist and sculptor, and he also does jewellery and metalwork out of recycled metals, so copper, brass and alloy mainly. So what happened, we started collaborating quite a bit together, so he'd do unique fittings for my bags. So, it just goes, as you could imagine, everybody, it goes leather and copper, you know. And so that become more and more, and that's what people wanted, that uniqueness. So, and then this space come up. I had a beautiful space before, but it was 3 individual buildings whereas this is just a really big sort of warehouse space, and so we both fit in there lovely. So it's really nice for everyone to be able to walk through and experience the lot and see us work at the same time. It's actually a working studio.
Studio. You got place where you can keep your stock. You got a area where the people can walk in and feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Have a chat. Display all your products and Jason's art as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's actually where we're working. So I've got my sewing machines, my laser machine, got my cutting tables, Jason's painting and doing his jewellery right there when people are walking through. So it's a really nice experience for tourists as well, or locals.
Yeah.
And we've become a place that everyone knows if they want unique gifts for family, we've got it covered. Anyone? So
yes,
yeah,
that would be fantastic for people just to go and we want to get more people in to go and visit your shop, and visit everybody that's been on this podcast from the Barossa, Dave from Barossa Donuts, big shout out to Luke from Beans and Creams that we had on the show. There's a lot of people in South Australia as well with great ideas. I think the state is as such is also growing in business.
Oh, definitely.
Well.
I'm proud to be in South Australia.
Yeah.
I really am. And one thing is we are a bit more unique here in South Australia. So, we love Melbourne, the vibe. We've just went over to Italy. So we do love that sort of artisan type thing. So we've brought a bit of all that back into our world and created it here in the Barossa.
Yeah, true. So how did and I think let's just quickly touch on numbers, and then we've probably got to start wrapping it up. You did mention your automation and your numbers and stuff, but you and me myself as well. I mean, I struggle a lot with technology, but sometimes you are forced to deal with technology. But how do you deal with your day-to-day administration and bookkeeping and stuff? Have you got a system that all integrates, making it easy?
That's the key word, integration.
Integrate.
We have all these amazing systems now, and they're incredible, and they are really quite user-friendly. Which, thank God for me, my age. So, like you said, I call it fumbling away, and you learn what you have to learn with it. Yeah. But of course, when they can all be integrated, it just streamlines my life. So, from your actual bookkeeping things, link up to my website, which link up to my point of sale, which link up to my paying system, and then that links all up to my bookkeeper, then my bookkeeper links up to my accountant, and it's great. I don't have to do much.
It's a bit different than in the old days. Write everything down.
I still have to invoice and quote and things for obviously custom stuff, but that's something I don't ever want to stop because I need to do that part. But running a business now, if you can streamline it in every way,
yes,
and you can, that's the thing. That is the key for sure.
That's right, and that's taking care of the numbers. So you just need a bit of a numbers guy or your own accountant to help you straighten your numbers out there to make sure that everything adds up and all stack up. Because even though we love our businesses and we like to live out our passion, we're still going to make a profit. If you don't make a profit, you can't grow. You can't be sustainable.
Yeah.
It's because people will say, "Oh, you're making a lot of profit."
That's not necessary.
It's not that easy. But I don't want to scare everybody off from going in business. But it's not. It is quite daunting sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, and my thing is, when I do get that profit, I do always put it back into the business. So at the moment now, I have brought my own commercial property I was able to do that. So, if you can grow by doing that, you can't go wrong.
Yes. And that's what we want, to grow. And how does, you obviously got your own ideas what the future look like for Sunshine Barossa. Are you thinking in terms of scaling the business? growing, getting to other areas?
I already have stockists in other areas.
Yes.
Again, we were talking about saying no
Yep.
before. I've said no to a lot of stockists that have wanted my products because it has to really align with me personally. The owner of the store and actually their store and where it is. I don't want anyone just to stock my products. It's got to be part of me. I got to like it. And I'm very glad I started saying no at an early time now with that. So where I have sort of grown and where my stockists are, I'm really quite proud of that. And you don't have to be massive. You're not always going to have more money in your pocket if you are really, really big.
No.
It gives you a lot more work, but it doesn't necessarily put more money in your pocket. And I've got a big understanding of that. So you've got to control the growth as well to make sure it is sustainable, but not just money-wise, it's for your life. So now at my age, it's time. You can't buy time. So I want to
buy time. Yeah, you can always make more money somehow, but you can't get your time back.
So time with my family. My boys are growing up very quickly. Time just with Jason to do more travel. Time with my dad, who's shout out, he's 87 and he's still amazing, and I've learnt so much from him. And unfortunately, my mum's passed, but she was very, very creative, and that's where a lot of my genes come from. But time for those people in my life is important, just as important, or probably more important than having a heap of money in your pocket too. So, there's limits.
Well, I'm glad that you did not say no when I asked you to come on my podcast. So you said you want to say no, fine, but you said yes to come on my podcast. And unfortunately, we ran a little bit out of time. But one more question, Carol, is we've probably said it throughout our discussion today, but what would you say if somebody's sitting with an idea and they want to start a business? What is there a few things that you would tell them to before they go into business or take that plunge? Yeah.
Well, I would actually just say do it.
Yep.
Dreams can come true.
That's
literally, because if you're positive about what you want to do, if you do the hard work and you're prepared to do the background research and all those things we've covered today, it will come true, your dream. But you've got to believe it.
Got to believe your dream.
Believe your dream. Believe in you. Believe you can do it.
Yes.
And have amazing people around you too. That really helps.
That helps. What did I say? Dreaming costs you nothing, but not having a dream can cost you everything.
Very, very wise words.
It's not me. I read it somewhere.
I've read that before, and I very much agree with that.
Yeah. So keep on dreaming, but realistic, and make sure that your business is viable, that you got your vision and viable as well.
Yeah.
And dreams come true. Well, you have, I'm pretty sure out there, you have touched a lot of hearts today with our discussion. Carol, thank you so much for coming in. It's been a pleasure.
Well, thank you for having me, Johan. I've really enjoyed chatting to you. It's
been
great.
Just a quick shout out as well for somebody that's helping with a little bit of funding for the podcast is the Polaris Centre in Salisbury. They're funded by the City of Salisbury. Do you know Polaris, the Polaris Group, Carol?
I've heard,
So they're doing a lot. They're doing a lot what the RDA is doing, but they're helping small businesses, and they're also helping with courses like the Business Fundamentals. So they are a sponsor of the show. And big shout out to them for helping, and people can get in touch with Polaris to help understanding. I'm also on the mentorship panel of Polaris, where we also got a panel of mentors, whether it's marketing or digital things or finance or law or import export ideas.
It's amazing.
That is. So that's a big shout out. Thanks again. Thanks, Carol. We're going to take a few pictures. Are you okay with that?
That's fine.
That's right. We put it all. By the way, your website is?
sunshinebarossa.com.au.
Sunshinebarossa.com.au.
Yeah.
And you're on Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah, Instagram is the main thing.
Yes.
Because whatever's happening in you,
Yes.
that's always going to be on there.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
start following everyone, and you can see what we're doing. And our studio is called North Street Studios.
North Street Studios. And that's part of the website, kind of. That's right. Okay, and everybody, please, if you enjoyed the show, absolutely whack that subscribing budget. And the more subscribers we can get, the better interesting guests we can get, like Carol. We're gonna struggle to top this today, but we're gonna try harder. But please keep subscribing and listening to the show and spread the word. I'll appreciate that. That is me. I am signing off as your number man. My name is Johan. Ciao.